Brought some friends back with me. Did you miss them? Hello everyone, welcome back. If you don't know, my name is Jessie. I am a screenwriter and I make videos here about screenwriting and screenwriting related topics. Today, I wrote a movie. Well, no, I didn't write a movie, but I outlined a movie. If I wrote a movie every single time I made a video, I would make one video a year. But yes, I had the idea to write a Scott Pilgrim movie, but with the genders swapped, gender bent. And so I'm just going to walk you through what I came up with today. And it's a similar premise. It's the same premise, but it goes in a different direction. So I'm excited for that. So the main character is going to be Scotty Pilgrim. I thought about naming her something else. I thought about maybe Stacy Pilgrim, that's Scott's sister in the movies, but I wanted it to be like a completely, alternate universe. So I decided to just go with Scotty Pilgrim. I haven't heard that name as a girl's name, but why not? I think it works. And then for Ramona, the obvious gender bent version of her name would be Ramon. But I didn't feel like Ramon captured the character because it's a very different character. And so I went rogue and I just named him James. I realize now that I could have gone with something closer, like a Ryan or like something else with an R, but I didn't think about that. And now I'm attached to the name James. So we're just gonna go with James. So the original movie starts with the line, Scott Pilgrim was dating a high schooler, and I sure forgot about that when I was rewatching this. I don't know how I forgot about that. It's like a main plot point, but I definitely forgot about that. I think I'm just gonna let that one go because I don't know the laws in Toronto. Damn, you want to talk about the fetishization of Asian women? Look no further.
Knives Chow. She's Chinese. Wicked.
So in this alternate universe, I have set the movie on a college campus. So we're going to start off with the line, Scotty Pilgrim's dating her TA. So that's what we're going to go with. And we're going to start off in a bar, and Scotty is with her friends, and they'll be the gender bent versions of, Kim and young Neil and the other one whose name I always forget. And she is vehemently denying it because she does not want to be one of those girls, James is in a band, so he is playing at the bar, and they have a moment where he's playing and they see each other and they lock eyes and it's very romantic. And after the show, James seeks her out and he starts talking to her and flirting with her, and he, kind of asks her out. It's kind of the equivalent of the party scene, but way less awkward. So they start dating and everything's going great. Scotty's really falling for James, and she stops seeing this TA fellow, and she's going to class one day, and we get the first evil ex, which is Maddie Patel instead of Matthew Patel. And she comes into the classroom and sits down and everything seems normal, and then she looks over at Scotty and she kind of starts like a cat fight with her, and you still get that same like aesthetic that the original movie has, but it'll be like a little more cat fighty. Scotty defeats her and she's like, that was weird, what happened?
That's suspicious.
And she talks to James about it and he's like, okay, so this is gonna sound crazy, but like I have these like crazy evil exes and they're like gonna come fight you because they're jealous or whatever. And Scotty's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna bounce. It's been real. It's been fun, but no. And he's like, no, come on. Like, I know it's crazy, but I think I love you, and if you love me too, you'll do this for me. If we can get through this, we can get through anything. And he talks her into it, and she's like, I guess I'll do it. Sure, okay. So the second ex comes along around Halloween time. Normally on college campuses, a lot of people have a Rocky Horror Picture Show like thing going on, and so they go to Rocky Horror and they're in the front row, and the second ex, which in the movie was Chris Evans, I think the name was Lucas Lee. This one it's Lucy. So Lucy is in the production and she's on stage. She's like Janet and she's singing touch me or whatever. Is that the song? Yeah, I think so. She like gets off the stage and she like starts singing right to James, and she's like all over him, and Scotty's like, what the hell? So they battle it out and Scotty wins. So they leave the production and James is like, Scotty, what was that? You were being really aggressive in there. And Scotty's like, well, she was all over you. What are you talking about? I thought you wanted me to fight these exes. And he's like, well, yeah, but like you were, you know, really mean to her, blah blah blah. Like she wasn't really all over me. It was nothing suspicious. James has a show at a bar and Scotty's there, and she runs into the TA that she was kind of seeing at the beginning, and his name is Evan Adams. Guess freaking what? He's the male version of Envy Adams. I tried. So Evan's band goes up first, and instead of Todd, we have Tori Ingram, and they're playing, and there's like this, you know, musical battle between Tori and Scotty, and to get it to stop, Scotty goes and pulls the fire alarm, and she, you know, ends the battle and she wins. And they go outside as the fire alarm's going off and the sprinklers are going off, and James is like really pissed. He's like, you ruined my show, like what was that, blah blah blah. And they get into an argument, and James like grabs Scotty really aggressively, and it's very scary, and you like see this other side to him. When this happens, we totally drop the aesthetic that we were running with, like the comic book kind of style. It totally drops and it starts to look like a regular movie again. And Scotty goes home crying. She's really upset. And James comes back to her place the next morning and he is profusely apologizing. He's like, I'm so sorry. I would never actually hurt you. I never meant to do that. I was just so drunk, blah, 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 whatever bullshit, you know, abusers say. And, you know, Scotty forgives him because, yeah. So ex number 4 is Ruby Richter. In the original, it's Roxy, because they were having this, like, funny early 2000s, haha, aren't bisexuals and lesbians funny? This movie. It's a good movie. I do enjoy it, but there's some bits that have not aged well. So Ruby comes in when the couple is, you know, kind of in a weird place. They're out and they run into Evan, and Scotty starts having just a friendly conversation, and James gets crazy jealous and accuses Scotty of cheating on him with Evan, even though that's totally not what she's doing at all. So they have a big fight. James storms out, and then Scotty goes to find him later, and she walks in on him hooking up with Ruby. And she gets so pissed, she breaks up with him immediately and leaves. So then the next exes are numbers 5 and 6, and it's the twins, and I've named them in this one Kylie and Kendra. And they run into Scotty after she's just left the apartment and broken up with James, and they, you know, approach her ready to fight, but Scotty's like, don't bother, we broke up. And they're like, oh, cool. And they're quite happy about that, and they see that Scotty's really upset, and so they ask her if she wants to talk. So they take her to a diner and they just let her vent, And she's like, so you guys are sisters and you both dated him? Like, what's the deal there? And they're like, yeah, we know it's kind of weird, but he's, you know, he's like our Prince Charles. So they're talking and they're getting along. And then James walks in and he is furious. And he's like, what are you doing? Why are you talking to them? What have they told you? They're liars. They're crazy. Don't listen to them. They have it out for me. Blah, 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 whatever. Gaslighting. And so this is kind of the equivalent from the original where Gideon takes Ramona from Scotty because she's property. But yeah, James kind of takes Scotty back away from them and she is his prisoner basically. So Kylie and Kendra go to the residence of the seventh evil ex and her name is Ginger, and they're like, we're sorry, we couldn't do it, we almost had her, but he's still got her. And Ginger's like, all right, let's do this. And she's like, gets suited up to fight. So the big battle is about to happen. So Ginger goes out and finds Scotty and James, and they're like in a bar again because college. And they're fighting and Scotty's trying to get away from him, and Ginger comes in and she knocks James out and she's like, get away from her, back off, whatever cool quip you have. And immediately the aesthetic comes back, the video game aesthetic, the comic aesthetic. The fight begins. Scotty goes to Ginger's side and she's like, I'm so sorry. I thought you guys were attacking me, but really you were trying to protect me. And Ginger's like, I understand, it's okay, it happens to everyone. They all think we're trying to attack them, and we just do the best that we can. And so Scotty fights James with the help of the other exes, and James is defeated in a dramatic way. Much action movie. So the final scene is Scotty in a coffee shop with Ginger and some of the other exes, and they're hanging out and they're friends now, and James walks in with a new girlfriend and they're like, crap. So James leaves her for a second to go to the bathroom, and they get ready to go approach her, and Ginger's like to Scotty, she's like, you don't have to do this, you know, it's not your responsibility. Scotty's like, no, I'm gonna do it because you did this for me, it's the least I can do. So Scotty goes up to her in a very calm manner. She's very nice, very sweet, very polite. And then we see from the new girlfriend's perspective, she sees Scotty walking up, and it is like the start of another battle, basically. So yeah, that was my gender bent Scott Pilgrim movie idea. Let me know what you thought. I liked the premise. I thought, you know, the idea of having like all of your exes are like crazy evil sounded to me like what an abusive partner would say. Like, you know, it's like, oh, if you're dating someone and all of their exes are crazy, red flag. So that's what sparked the idea. So I hope you liked it. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you want to see more from me, subscribe. I'm posting videos every week about screenwriting and screenwriting related topic. We've got some fun ones in the pipeline for you. And I will leave all my links to follow me in the description down below. And I think that's it. Bye.
The song is called I Am So Sad. I am so very, very sad. Goes a little something like this. Thank you.